Good evening, good evening, good evening. And definitely welcome back to you guys, wherever it is that you are looking in from. If you can do me a favor, please let me know where it is that you are watching this. What we want to do is definitely not take too much time, but I want to give you guys the reality check. The reality check that many of you need because you decided that 2026 was the year that you are going to move abroad, but you guys may not be all the way ready. You might have figured where your destination is and figured out all of the different nuances of maybe even work or these potential things of where I'm going, but you haven't got it all figured out. So, tonight's conversation, as well as all of the conversations that are usually on this platform, are designed to give you what you need before you leave. There's no roadmap. There is no course to take to put yourself in a situation where you guys want to succeed. So, and can succeed. There's no roadmap to follow. There's no step by step blueprint or guidelines. And a lot of people are running out of America because it's hot. It bothers people a little bit. And what we want to do is give you guys on this platform the opportunity to wrap your heads around what somebody probably didn't ask you. They said, do you know what you're doing and is it safe? But probably didn't ask you some of the things that we're going to get into tonight about the real cost of moving abroad because it has changed. A lot of you don't realize that because you just got it on your radar within the last 6 months, the last year. Or maybe you have been having it on your radar for all of this time and had a budget and a goal and a plan in mind. But there's a lot of things that are outside of your hands. And this conversation should hopefully put them back into your hands, give you guys an opportunity to feel a little bit more reassured with the thing that you want to say you're doing is relocating. So you guys make certain that if you are the person that is looking to move abroad, get your pen out, get your notes out because you might want to take some. Make sure if you aren't the person that is looking to move abroad, please share this with someone that is moving abroad or looking to move abroad. Because I don't think a lot of people have had the conversation that we're going to have tonight, which is the real cost of moving abroad. Because there's a lot of misconceptions and there's a lot of things that people haven't really gotten their heads wrapped around. So today we're going to get into it. If you guys don't know who I am, my name is RJ Mood. I'm originally from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. I moved out of Philadelphia some long time ago, back when I was 18, but originally moved from the United States, from South Florida, and then over to Colombia. So you may hear me reference Colombia, Medellin specifically. I know some people ask, oh, where are you from or where are you living? I live here in Medellin, Colombia. However, we do our best to connect you with general information, resources that you need as far as the information that the immigration visas could change, how your passport works, what you need to ask yourself before you go deciding that I'm going to cure all of the problems that I have on the other side of the TSA. Maybe it can work that way, but oftentimes it doesn't. So, this conversation, as well as what we have done in this month of January, which is the 21 days of relocation reality check, I'm realizing that 2026 is a very important time for a lot of you. A lot of you are in a scenario where a lot of 2025 beat you up. You are running out of the United States. And so many of us that have been abroad for multiple years before things were on fire, we weren't running at a time where there was a global disaster or a global scenario that every hour there was some new news to navigate, whether it was in the United States or what was going on globally and politically, and are we on the brink of World War III? We weren't under that duress. So I understand why so many people are saying, hey, I've got AI now, I've got ChatGPT. Between that and what I know, I can just get it figured out. Yet I'm seeing so many people not have success. So many people come back on the internet after saying that I wanted to move abroad and saying, hey guys, it wasn't what I thought it was. And a lot of that is because, one, they didn't go prepared. They didn't have the right questions that were asked of themselves to examine whether or not this was a journey that they were ready to get into. One of the things that I remember when I looked to go move abroad, I got all the same things you got. Why would you leave America? Look around. Now, it wasn't as bad as it is now, but you'll still get those things, those people that will say, why would you leave America? Why would you leave? It's the best country in the world. Even people that aren't having a good time will sit there and tell you it's the best country in the world. So why would you leave? But one of the most profound questions that I had, and it was funny to me at the time, because at the time that I left in 2023. So we are in 2026. I left in 2023. However, I'm a little bit different than the average person that just left America and was like, okay, I picked the country and then went. I had been coming to Colombia specifically since 2017. I have been bringing different people here, so I had to navigate business relationships, how the culture worked, the language, both listening, hearing, reading, and writing. Those things were in my plate, but they weren't on yours. So I say because most of you guys didn't have the leg up that I have, yet you guys are DIYing it and dropping it into the AI, and I'm seeing so many people realize that that's coming up short, and it's coming up short when it comes into a scenario of their life. What you see is the success stories on the internet when it comes to relocation. That's somebody else's life. But when it comes to yours, it's your life. And you are a specific person. You have your different nuances, the things that you need, the things that make you tick, the things that you have to get over on your end before you even book your ticket. But one of the biggest things, and I remember this, my father asked me when I told him I was going to go move abroad. Never mind, why are you moving to Colombia? What are you going to? He already knew what I did for work, so he knew I didn't have to have any. I was already working remotely, so that wasn't my thing. But he was like, why would you? Why would you move there? You know, why would you give up everything you have in the United States? You built a good life here. And the one thing he said to me was, how much did you save? How much did you save? And at the time, I thought that was one of the funniest questions that he said to me, because I was like, do you know how much I'm spending here living in South Florida, driving a nice Mercedes Benz? It was 2023, so that was a 2021, so it was a relatively new car. Living in a nice area. I remember living in the place that I lived in. It was such a nice area where they would have people drive, like the people that worked for the city, drive and pick up the trash. Like they would get out and pick up one piece of trash and then hop back in and get back into the truck and then drive around to make certain that there wasn't any trash. You know, I was an area where I remember going to see because I was a resident. I think we saw Drew Hill and somebody else for free because it was already included in the taxes and things that we were purchasing. You know, when I looked back, you know, at what it was that I was spending on a monthly basis just to say I'm alive and maybe I can go eat at nice restaurants every once in a while. And, you know, those things may be on your plate too. But depending on where you are and who you are, you might be spending $3,000 a month to maintain your lifestyle. You might be spending $5,000 a month. You might be spending $7,000 a month. I mean, not just your house. I mean, all of the bills and all of the food and all of the gas and all of the car notes and all of the insurance, all of that, put that into a box. And when he said, you know, how much did you save? I said, my man, do you know where I'm going? Do you know how much it costs? What do you mean? How much did I save? I'm spending five, seven, eight, whatever it was at the time. The number is no concern, but whatever it is that you're spending. When I was there, I was like, "What do you mean? I didn't need to save any money. I didn't need to do anything." Just 3 years ago, when I came to Colombia, I had a leg up. I told you guys. I realized that I had the hookup. You guys don't know anybody that you know personally when you're looking to move abroad. You haven't been open enough to have these conversations in regards to, you know, let me reach out into these communities. Maybe I don't know these people, but let me be the kind of person to get to know somebody because it would be beneficial because that is what's going to sustain you when you get there. But you guys haven't wrapped your head around that. It's because you're running out. But you don't even realize that when you look at these things and you talk about how much it cost me just 3 years ago, I will tell you when I got the nomad visa after I was going to be here for 3 months and then I was going to go to Playa del Carmen. But after being here for 3 months and considering going back from South Florida to another beach town, I was like, nah, I'm not. I'm not looking forward to that. And I am having a great time here, even better time than I was thinking. But one of the things that I had to like really put my head around was, okay, well, how do I stay here long term? And a lot of you haven't even realized that. You guys think that you guys have the passport, and that means that you can just go. That means that that is a long term plan. Oh, 180 days in multiple countries. Once you move and once you get your life together and all that stuff, you run into a scenario where it's like you might want not want to be a nomad. And the digital nomad visa, depending on where you go, gives you up to 2 years. And a lot of you may have your thoughts on the digital nomad visa and thinking, oh, 2 years, plenty of time. 2 years go by so fast, especially at your big age. You, the person that is moving abroad as an adult that has never done this, your big age, you are going to be in a scenario where 2 years is going to go by extremely fast. And then it's like, what are my long term options? A lot of you haven't even thought that far. It's just get out and then figure it out on the way out and way down. Yet when I did the digital nomad visa, uh, two people, I think I paid $600, $700. Let's call it less than $1,000 for two people. Cool. Let's just round it up. Let's call it less than $1,000 for two people. Why is that important to you? Because when my dad asked me, well, RJ, how much did you save? I'm like, bro, do you know how much that I'm spending here? I don't need to save. I just need to stop spending it there, cut it off, and I'll just take that money and spend it somewhere else. But now things are different. You guys are asking about jobs and what to get and how to make money online and not realizing that your long-term goal is a lot longer than you actually anticipate. I will give you a place like Colombia because realistically, Colombia is one of the most favorable um, exchange rates on this side of the world. Now, there may be other ones that are favorable in further places, but if you're not new here, you know that I tell you, your first time out of America, it's really, really, really the deep end to go 12 hours ahead and be a whole day ahead. So I always tell people if your first time out, not saying that you can never go over to Indonesia, Australia, further parts of East Africa, you can get that on your radar, but you just got to get America off you first. And a lot of these places, Colombia, Mexico, Panama, the top places that are on this side of the world, that the dollar is favorable, where you're looking for. Well, that dollar is based off of a number of things. One, your visa cost, how much you need to show that you make a month to qualify, retirement visas, how much it is to invest in a property, how much it is to open up a business. All of these things can be based off of what the minimum wage is. So, based off of this, you might need to make to open up a business. You might need to make $1,000. You might need to invest $1,000 1,000 times. Excuse me, 1,000 times the minimum wage. Oh, you might need to make 20 minimum wages or 50 minimum wages in order for you to qualify for the nomad visa. It all depends. I think it went up. Colombia just went up 23% on the minimum wage. So I think it last year was $1,100 for the digital nomad visa as far as what you had to make per month. I think this year maybe like closer to 1,500. Those things are important because yes, that may work for Colombia and what you make and what you get in retirement and everything else, but that might not work for Mexico now. And then what is a nomad visa or just 2 years going to do when this is your forever place? Which is also a double-edged sword because you think, well, I can go to Mexico and get my temporary residency. I'll apply here. So that way, once I get there for the first time ever, I'll already have my residency. And it's just like, the nuances of relocation are so nuanced because not knowing how your passport works before you go applying paperwork, because it's not just 650, 750, $1,000 for two people anymore. Now these things are costing $1,000, $3,000, $4,000 per person. You may need to have showing $15,000 in the bank. I saw that recently in Thailand. People getting stuck at the border and not being let back in the country because they're using old and yesterday's news off of what immigration, because immigration is changing at the speed of light. Oh, You didn't think it was? You thought that you could just pop it in the chat GPT and that was the answer and that was going to be it? Turn on any news station right now. CNN, MSNBC, Fox News, I don't care which one of them it is. Sit there, watch it for an hour. They're going to give you 800 things in 1 hour that's on fire. All of them global. And the other ones that ain't global, they right in your backyard. They're right in the United States. You say, well, what's that got to do with me? I'm trying to get out the United States. What you don't realize is that whoever the administration is, the current one, the past ones, whoever the ones are at the time that you're trying to do this global relocation journey, this global thing that you're saying, hey, I want to leave the United States with a blue passport because you may not feel American, but that blue passport is American as hell. And everybody that sees you, as much as you don't think that you give off the average American, ooh, but certain you do. And what happens is, at the whim of the administration and the United States government, you, me, anybody else that's an American that is living abroad, moving abroad, traveling abroad, maneuvering around in these different countries at the whim of what other countries say and do. So when we go and tell everybody, oh, we're cutting off y'all visas and we're going to raise the rates for this, that impacts you in this relocation journey. I know you've been in your bubble and you didn't think that this had anything to do with you, but it does a lot to do with you. And what I want you guys to realize is that the cost of leaving America has gone up astronomically. Astronomically. Some places are requiring you to purchase 1 or 2 years of insurance. When I first started and got out here, what they had said was cool. You can purchase a 1 year policy and pay month to month. So if it's $50, cool, $50. Pay $50. Here's your 1 year plan. There you go. Now what is happening is people are asking for you to have purchased a full year because they caught on to people canceling the policies after 1 month and then end up being relying on public health care and public insurance in their country, and they should have been covered because they should have been able to afford that if they're coming into a country. Now, don't get me into but these are the rules. So if you have to pay, even if it's only $65, you say, oh man, $65, that's not that much money. A month for full health care? You would love that, right? But if you had to pay $65 times 12, times the number of people in your party that are from 0 to 76, just an insurance cost. Never mind the visa processing fees. Let's say you do it on your own. You still have to pay the government. Those right there are are astronomically more than what it was just 3 years ago. So I bring this conversation to light because I realize that a lot of you guys don't realize that it's going to cost you a little bit more money than what you thought it was. And unfortunately, if you haven't left, then you are now getting privy to this conversation. The people that already are gone, they're like, even when moving back, I told you I was in Mexico for 5 months. Prices changed. The cost of food changes. Maybe it didn't change from a Colombian perspective, but one of those things I told you about, which is the global thing, and the administration will dictate that, and what they do or what they don't do, and what impacts you, is that the global dollar, the dollar, never mind the passport, is going out of the top 10 in the world. But the global dollar is actually going down right now. So when they say, oh, it's 2,000 Mexican pesos, when they say it's 2 million Colombian pesos, when they say it's 5,000 Rand, whatever the currency number is, you are coming with your US dollars that for the longest time in the world had been the top currency in this global presence and this global power. I just take my US dollars, but things are changing every day. And you don't even realize that because you're so overwhelmed with everything else that's going on. It might cost, depending on where you're going, 1,300, 1,500, $4,000 per person. You might need for long term because they're taking visas away or changing what the requirements are. 150 to almost $200,000 to buy a house that will give you the ability to stay there long term and get residency. these things have went up so much in 3 years. And I know I didn't want to put another burden on your back, but I want y'all to realize that y'all don't know everything. I didn't know everything. I had to hook up and I still stumbled. There was no talk to the ball guy on the YouTube. There was nobody that was giving me something that I could actually use, preparing me for something that, they weren't prepared for, and say, hey, I want you not to have these issues. And you say, well, why is it? You must got a bunch of stuff to sell. Yeah, we got things to sell, but that's not why we do this. What you guys don't realize is, even if I wasn't a person that was doing this, you go, the person, and let's say you're an influencer, and let's say you don't even have to be an influencer. It's 2026. Nobody has to be an influencer to go viral. But you go and you have this time, and then you go and it may be a negative time, and you go on the internet, and then that goes viral, and millions and tens of millions of people see it. And then it's just exasperating what has already been about Americans and American ignorance and arrogance and everything else. But now you're coming from a marginalized group. So it's not even oh, well, they know it's us. No, they don't, because everybody is being the same person. And what that does is, even if you aren't the same person, you run into a scenario of being labeled as the same person, because negativity gets spread a lot faster than positivity. And then when you come out here and you have a bad time because you didn't realize how much money it costs, because you had been thinking, oh, America said I'm moving to a third world country, so everything must be cheap. They don't have a high season. Right now, it's the Bad Bunny concert here in Medellin. So Bad Bunny is doing a warm-up concert, whatever you want to call it, but it ain't a warm-up. It's big as hell here in Medellin. Places that would be $40, $30 a night are now $100, $150 a night, because Bad Bunny is about to do he's going to be here in a major music city before he's about to do the Super Bowl. The tickets might be astronomical by the time he comes back after the Super Bowl. We might as well see him the last time. But if you were to come here right now and try to get a place, you might not have the right proper budget. Never mind saying, oh, well, I got, $1,500 saved. Maybe I can, get the visa. Okay, you maybe can get the visa this year, but you're not guaranteed even 2 years. Never mind, you have to get an FBI background check and fingerprints in a lot of these places. I'm seeing the rolling cost out the box for that is $400 USD. Never mind processing fees in the $300 to $400 range just for the person that is the expert to help you. Plus, depending on what their expertise is, also you factor in what the government wants. Plus, once you get your paperwork and all of that is actually approved, you also need to do, before then, you need to get your documents done. But your documents need to be translated in apostille, which is essentially a notary, which says these documents are official. And those numbers aren't cheap, and they want more of them. What costs two people $650 to cost those same people $3,000, $4,000 just 3 years later. Yet somebody told you that you were moving to a third world country, and you had wrapped it in your head that that was the truth, and you don't even realize that the price of the brick has gone up astronomically in 3 years, and what main man is doing is not going to do you any better. So you need a plan. You need a plan, because visa costs are one thing. I was talking to Kelly, all my people that have parents, and Kelly, shout out to Kelly for sure, because she put me on game. I do not have children. I'm 38 years old, and I'm not looking to have children. What is going on in the world is enough. I need to put my hands up by myself, not dragging no kids around the world. I say that all to say, what she told me was, coming from America with your kids, you might be in a scenario where you got them in public school. Yeah, they're in public school. Send them to school. They go on the cheese bus. They got, school give them a little bit of lunch money. They go buy whatever they want. Normal stuff, right? Cool. Well, do you know what the public school costs are? Because you're not a citizen. You're not even a resident. You don't even know how to get to residency in the place that you deserve. Let's go pack up and give everything and sell everything and go there. We got 6 months. We go figure it out. Did you move and plan at the wrong time? Did your lease happen to end at the worst possible time? What do you mean? Well, you happen to move and want to move in January, and you wanted to move on the first. Start the new year fresh. Now, obviously, if you're still in the United States, you're not moving on January 1st. But so many people are lining it up based off of what their goals are, and never mind what is going on in a place that is already going on without them. You come in January 1st, so many people are returning on the 1st because it gives me another 180 days. So I've been gone. It also is a running scenario of it's the most busiest time of the year, Christmas, the holidays. These things are big, at least in Colombia. Never mind where you're going. You go to, oh, I want to move to Ghana in December. That's in December. How are you going to move when all of the prices are not dictating of what it is that are normal prices, but you move because you did no real research on what it is. So now you're saying, oh, I don't have the money to actually be in my dream place, and I planned this all wrong. Think about that. It's you. It's your family. It's not something that most people go when they boast about, oh, I'm moving abroad. They get over there and it's all pieces, and let me show you this and let me show you that, and then something happened that they realize I didn't really have this planned out, and they just disappear. They go tuck their tail between their legs. You say, what happened? I thought you were so and so, and you see them right down the street from you, and it's like, but what happened? I thought you had figured it out, and it's like, nah, it wasn't what I thought it was going to be. Nah. It was exactly what you thought it was going to be. And by that I mean the short-sightedness of it. It was the Narnia that you had painted in your life that all of this was going to be perfect. I just needed to get out of America and leave. I haven't even thought about it. I just take my American dollars, and I keep telling y'all act like Christopher Columbus, Ferdinand Magellan, Jacques Cousteau. That is how so many people are acting, and I get it because for the first time you are in a scenario where you could be in the catbird seat, overworked, overwhelmed. Dollar don't go from Monday to Friday. I get it. I've been there. Times that what you see on the internet and what you see on the news, people say, I don't watch the news anymore, but the news is outside. You pick out your blinds and you can see what the news is. You can see them. We're live outside of the guy that's supposed to be leaving his house because he hasn't been watching the news, but the military has been outside this whole time. Not realizing this dollar amount ain't in your favor. I'm here in Colombia. I've seen a dollar be up as 4,000 pesos. The numbers that it's going now is not going the way we want it to go. And that's good for the folks that, it is, and in regards to maybe that will keep some people out. Oh, now it's a barrier. You missed the bus when it was real cheap to leave. So if you're here and you haven't moved, the cheap bus has left. And the more expensive bus, and I'm seeing this happen more often. So I'm the guy that says, hey, I got 300 plus videos on YouTube. Go to Black Expat Life Abroad. You can watch them all. We're probably going to cover the question. You just have to find the answer. It's on YouTube. However, we put together a whole website, Mood Travel Abroad, MOOD, travelabroad.com. That's where you can go get all of the free resources that we have put together, and we have all of our paid resources. That the paid thing is the one problem that a lot of people get a little hitched up on. And I get it because things are already expensive. It's $100 a bag of groceries. It's all of this stuff. But I see so many people try to navigate this and not realizing that without the hookup, you're going to be in the problem. You're going to be back at home right where you're sitting at. You might as well not even leave. You're going to be over in somewhere in another country asking people for help because you don't ran out of money because you didn't think it was that expensive in a third world country. I've seen it all. I actually get the calls. Can you help? So-and-so I've met. Can you help them? How many times, multiple times, have I seen the person that is now on my phone call me from somebody else's phone or get in contact with me and didn't want to say, hey, let's get on a phone call. Yes, it's going to cost you a little bit of dollars, but now you out thousands of dollars and you could have got real information that was good for you for under 100. So it is going to cost you now more money than it ever has to leave the United States. You are going to really have to put together a plan, both if you aren't if you have a retirement pension, how much that is, where you're going, if the minimum wage increases, will you qualify for it to be on the pension visa? Shout out to Will in Panama. Will said to me, yo, what I paid $5,000 for me and my wife, it costs $200,000 now. $5,000. That seems like a lot of money, but a lot less money than $200,000. I need you guys to wrap your head around this. You might not know everything. I don't know everything. I work with a whole team of people because I don't know everything. It's not my job to know everything. My job is to get you prepared for what it is that you don't know. You got the resources, you got the foundation, you think that you got it all in the box. ChatGPT, Claude, OpenAI, Gemini, whatever it is that you use gave you a beautiful plan. One thing you don't know is because you don't know what you're doing, you can't even read through that plan and pull out the information that is wrong and look to replace it and update it. You just go with it as some sort of Bible, as some sort of opportunity for you to change your life with wrong information, with the wrong blueprint. You need to start working on a financial plan if you are serious about sustaining life abroad. How do I make money? What do I do as far as all of my long-term goals and wanting to be here? Yet I don't have $1,000 just to apply for this, $400 just to apply for this. Yet so many of you guys didn't even know that before tonight. Yet thinking that it was just pick a place, book a ticket, pay my Airbnb, and I'm gonna go live my best life. Yet I'm seeing so many people, the demographics, people ask me flat out, who are your demographics? Everybody in America. Black, white, brown, yellow, red, all the colors. You know why? Because everybody's under the same scenario. At one point, I could niche down because everybody wasn't on fire. But now, look, everybody's under the same problems. I get so many people of all different kinds of ilks and saying, bro, like, I'm about to stop being an optometrist. I met a middle-aged white woman that was an optometrist in St. Louis, and she looked at me and said, yo, but you do relocation? Because my brother-in-law is Colombian, and I'm looking to leave, and I'm looking at what careers I can do because I can't do optometry over there. It doesn't make money, and virtual health, I'm just looking for something else. And I was just like, everybody's afflicted right now. Everybody's impacted. Everybody is not in a position to have the money that it now takes. Yes, once you open the door of the cost, it never goes back down. So wrap your head around this. Don't wing it because it will be the worst decision in your life. So many of you are not ready to open your life, your life to new language, new culture, new thought process. Somebody telling your grown ass what to do and that you don't know everything. You're not even open to that. I just saw two people drop off. They're like, this guy's just looking for $1. Listen, I meet so many people and they never pay me $1. If I think I'm going to make my entire living off of what this is, then Godspeed. That is your thought process. The thought process I put together is because I've realized that you impact me. Even if I don't say nothing, you impact me. The time that you have, I've been able to change my life. More people that look like me need the opportunity to change their life in a way where it's actually meaningful and sustainable. People are moving with their kids, so now these children that look like me are getting way bigger opportunities at an earlier age. And I see the impact on what that looks like. I know what it looked like for me getting the time that I got it. Never mind somebody growing up in an environment where they can see the world and not see it from just America's eyes. But you're not realizing that the cost of the visas are going up. The cost of the help is going up based off of the cost of everything going up. What cost $650 just 3 years ago for two people now doesn't even cost $650 for one person. You can't even be a half a person and pay $650. I'm sorry, I'm just finally went out to Cali. It was super laid back. I'm hearing they're trying to line up that insurance expiration date with your visa expiration date. Exactly. That's somebody that's in the comments that's talking about that. They want to know, what does your healthcare insurance, when does that expire? Have you paid all of this? Because some of y'all have been trifling. Some of y'all have been nasty and lazy and disgusting, going around the world, canceling credit card transactions because it's a third world country and they're going to have to figure it out. Going and saying, oh, yeah, I got a year policy. And then a month later, canceling it. Well, what do you think? People are dumb. So now you got to pay $65 times 12 each person in your party. Oh, it's just a baby. 0 to 76. plus processing fees that don't care about age. It's all the same visa. And you get up to 2 years. So what that means is I've gotten 1 year and I've also gotten 6 months. I've never gotten 2 years. Do you realize that I had to pay more for 6 months than I did for the 1 year? Because the first price was $650 for two. The second price wasn't nowhere near that. It was like right under like $2,000 with all the extra fees and the FBI background checks that I had to go and get printed out and paid for. And then now you need fingerprints. These things are important to wrap into your budget, but you guys thought that it was just picking a place, picking the Airbnb, and rolling out. I don't want to see y'all because I see it out here in Colombia. There's people from America, Europe, Australia, homeless in Colombia. The place that you said was a third world country, that you said you was gonna go have a good time, that you was gonna go put all the Instagram videos up and doing everything else. There are people that are out here homeless because they didn't plan right. They came out here and not realizing that just because it's a third world country doesn't mean the house is $200 a month. Not a lot of the places that you guys are. Oh, well, I'm going to go to Thailand. It's $200 villa. But where is the villa? You may say, oh, $200, but all the $200 places aren't walkable, and you got a limp and you can't walk too long, young or old. All of this is relevant. What I tell you guys is the reality check is I wish I could have paid somebody to help me. I had to leg up. I had been moving around in Colombia by myself, me bringing other people and help them navigate prior to even me saying full time, let's go. But I wish I had somebody. I sought out people. I went to other countries to meet people that could give me the hookup because that's how intentful I am. I'm not telling you to do stuff that I didn't do. I'm telling you that I did everything that I tell you to do, as well as the things that I wish were available. I wish somebody would have had a conversation with me. Now, when some person did say how much it cost, it's like it's nothing, and it was at that time. Yet 3 years later, the new Trump administration, the new whatever it is that's going on in this world, got the dollar down, has wages going up, which is good for the local people, but from your pocket and how far your dollar goes, those oh, it's $30. That's why you don't see that kind of content on this. For what? You're gonna come out here and say, "Oh, I want to rent a $5,000 apartment because it's got the most best Instagram view." That's some personal stuff, bro. I can't talk to everybody and expect those people to want to do that. What I can tell them is the price of the brick don't went up. What it cost to move abroad just 3 years ago is no longer the price. It now costs thousands of dollars to move. It did not cost that. So you need to have a financial plan. You need to get it together. We brought Corey Hooks on. You can go get connected with her. You can go to movetravelabroad.com. She's a financial expert. She will help you navigate this and what this looks like. Whatever your pension or whatever your financial goals are, or how much money it is that I'm making and what really life looks like, she'll help you with the finances, and I can help you either get connected here in Medellin or Cartagena, other places in Colombia, or with my resources in Mexico, Panama, and South Africa. It's your choice. But I hate to see the people come back to me that didn't want my help, and I've had the opportunity to meet you, and now we got to unravel stuff. And now it's everything is on the fly, or now you're returning back to the United States because things didn't go the way you thought it was going to go. I don't want that for you. I want better for you, which is why I do what it is that I do. And hopefully tonight you realize that you don't know it all, and neither do I. But I bring all the resources and all the conversations that it is that we need, I need, you need, to make certain that this relocation is actually a success. So do me a favor, please make sure, if you are not already, follow this wherever you are, subscribe. Write in the comments what y'all want us to talk about, what it is that you need more information on in this relocation journey. But I need you also to do, if you guys are interested in, what you should be, in coming to a relocation tour, we can get you connected to all of the locations that I mentioned: Puerto Vallarta, Mexico, Playa del Carmen, Mexico; Panama City, Panama; Cape Town, South Africa; Medellin, Colombia; Cartagena, Colombia; Santa Marta, Colombia. We do our best to make sure you got one stop to just roll up and you got everything that you need. But one thing is for certain, and two things for sure: I can only do certain things. You have to do the rest. This conversation is designed to help you get to the rest of what it is that you need to do before you sell everything that you own and say, I'm living, but I don't feel alive yet. That's what you're looking for when you look to move abroad. I hope tonight that you gave and got something that has helped you in this relocation journey. Put something in your toolkit that you needed. Put something in your book bag that you needed to go on this journey that you're looking for as far as the transformation of life. It's just my job to bring it to the forefront and give you the opportunity to reflect on it. Hopefully, that is what it is that you have done. I want to make certain that you guys can also go to moodtravelabroad.com and realistically get tapped in. We got free resources there. You can get tapped in with all of our relocation journeys. Our next one is February 16th through the 22nd, getting you connected on ground to neighborhoods, apartments, city tours, immigration lawyers, everything that you need to be successful in this relocation. I promise you it wouldn't be on the menu if it wasn't ready for you to eat. I'm excited for you guys to have a successful 2026 as well as myself, all of your families. But one thing for certain, I just need you guys to pay attention. The opportunity is yours. And I hope you have learned something tonight. I appreciate you. I will see you tomorrow. I'll jump in just for another 30, 40 minutes. We'll talk about another conversation, but I wanted this to be talked about because it does not cost what you think it does to move abroad successfully. You can buy a ticket, you can book an Airbnb, but that doesn't guarantee success. I want you to be successful, and you also want yourself to be successful. So make sure you're back here tomorrow around 6 o'clock. You type in and you actually turn on your follows or your subscribes and your likes, whatever it is the algorithm does to make certain that you get a notification that we're going live. Then you'll know we're on. I'll see you tomorrow. Make sure you're staying safe and staying warm. It's cold as hell in the United States. Y'all be good.